Welcome back to Buckeye Country Creations. My name is Sonia, and I'm so glad you're here. I love my family. I love to cook. I love to clean. I love to eat what I cook. And I love to visit flea markets and antique shops. And I love to travel this beautiful country of ours. And I love sharing all of my activities with you. So come along with me and join me on my journey at Buckeye Country Creations. Welcome back to Buckeye Country Creations. In today's video, we're going to take this and turn it into this beautiful apple butter. So let's get going. Hello, it's your old friend Sonia. So glad you came back today for this video. As I said in the intro, we're going to take some apples and make some apple butter. And I talked in my last video about before next year getting me one of those peeler core apple slicer things. Well, I didn't wait till next year. I went to Walmart and I got it. And it was $19.97 is what it was. And as you can see, it goes onto your table. So that's where I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it. I could actually attach it to my countertop too if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to do it at the table, and I'm going to sit here and get this set up and get my apples peeled, cored, and sliced, and get them ready to go in the crock pot. So if you want to know how to make apple butter, it's really easy. It's basically just applesauce that's cooked longer and turned brown, and it has more spices in it than applesauce because you're going to have cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and vanilla is what I put in mine. And I use my homemade vanilla, and if you want to know how to make homemade vanilla, it's really easy. Makes a beautiful Christmas gift. I'll link that video in the description box below, but it's really easy to make applesauce, especially when you make it in the crock pot. Put all your things in there, cook it for 10 hours. Take the lid off, cook it for 2 hours, take an immersion blender and blend it up, and it's really good. So last year when I made apple butter, I didn't peel my apples, but this year I'm going to peel my apples because I don't want quite as much fiber in there, the fiber strings in there. So this year we're going to do peeled apple butter. So let's get started. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Helps send my video out to other people. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Join the family. We're just a bunch of normal folks around here enjoying everyday life and living in the country and getting on with it. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Let's go. So we're going to start with the list of ingredients that you will need to make the apple butter. Of course, you need about 6.5 to 7 pounds of apples. Then you will need 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, some ground cloves, some ground cinnamon, and some nutmeg. Now I will put the ingredients and the measurements up on the screen, but as you know, if you follow me for any time at all, you know that I season with my spices to my heart. So my vanilla, I'm a little bit more, not quite as lenient with. I measure my vanilla. But anyway, we're going to start by getting these apples peeled, cored, and sliced. And I have my peeler slicer core that I bought last night ready to go. So let's get started. I'm going to move this sugar out of the way. And being that I'm making apple butter, I don't really have to have water with lemon juice in it because it's going to be browned anyway, but I'm going to use it anyway. So I'm going to take my stem off of my apple. I may not have to do that. And I'm going to do my quick release to get my apple on here. And then pull this back, put my apple even with that. And we're going to start. We're going to start peeling. Okay. Not sure. Okay, So see, this is a trial and error because apparently I didn't have my apple on there enough. I need to tighten up my grip. Okay, so why is this not working? Okay, so see, this is why it's trial and error, because I don't know what I've done wrong. That's the slicer. So it was slicing it, but not quite peeling it correctly. So see, y'all get to try this along with me and see how this works. And I may need to adjust this blade a little bit, because you can adjust the blade up or down. Okay, so we were peeling, but then we lost the apple for some reason. So let's try it with a different apple. Let's try the other end of the apple. It says you can use either end. Okay. So let's see how this works. Okay, that's too deep. So I'm cutting most of my apple off. All right, let's try this. Let's try it this way. See how that works. And there's the apple core. These first peels. There's the apple core. And there's my apples. How cool is that? I got it. I got it figured out. Okay, so quick release. Bring it back. Clean off my mess. Let's put this one back on here and give it a whirl. See if we can get it. It may not work because it's cored all the way through. Okay, so. So that one I'll have to finish peeling myself. Okay. So go from this end, because that end tends to work better, I think. So I'm going to quick release. Push my apple on there. Push it forward. And go to town. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is so much easier than what I was doing yesterday. Look at that. And it just breaks into pieces. That's so much easier than what I was doing yesterday. And just pull that off, reset, start again. I probably should have put a towel underneath here. Now, like I said, you definitely want to have a cloth or something under here, because you're going to get apple juice everywhere. Okay, we'll get it tightened again. Quick release. Apple. Quick release. Apple. Y'all. Oh my gosh. Well. Wow. This is going to take me absolutely no time this morning. Peel. Uh-oh. I broke that one. Okay. All right, let's try something else. Let's see if I can. Yeah, that one's got a rotten spot. So we won't be using that one. That's a pretty good indicator, I guess, when you put it on here. If it won't peel all the way, then it's probably got rotten. So I'm gonna have to, I think, set my blade differently. Or maybe try the other end. Okay. Trial and error. That's why I do this, so you guys know, kind of what is going on. Okay, so let's try doing this end of the apple and see how that works. Okay. I think that seems to work better. Even though it says you can use either end of the apple, I think that end of the apple works better. Yep, that end seems to work a lot better if you're coring it. Now, you don't even have to core them. You can slice and peel them with this thing. You just, I think, take this off and do something different with it. Wow. I don't know who invented this thing, but wow. My husband's gonna be impressed when he sees this, because he was like, man, that took you a long time to peel those apples yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, I want to get me one of those apple peeler cores. He's like, well, I got to go to Kennett. We have a Walmart in Kennett, which is the closest one to where we live. And I'm like, okay, good. He's like, let's go get it. So we went and got it. Had to get some more jars anyway. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit, I think. Make that a little more stable. Okay. This is definitely a time saver. You don't have to take the stems off. I just do. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. And like I said, you can adjust the thickness of how much you want to pull off. Just try to make sure your apple's kind of straight on there. Because this is the part that slices it. This is the part that peels it. I mean, this peels, this slices. Just make sure it goes all the way through that slicer. And I washed my apples yesterday, so make sure you wash your apples. Because they put things on the trees to keep the bugs off, and they actually, believe it or not, they spray like wax or something on them in the store to make them shiny. Yep, they do. So if you don't have one of these and you're going to be making something with apples where you need to peel and slice and core, that you need one of these for sure. And I'm dropping some of mine in the floor. So where it probably took me an hour yesterday to peel, core, and slice all those apples, it's probably not even going to take me 30 minutes, if it takes me that long. I should have bought this thing last year, y'all. Should have bought it last year. Because the biggest chore for me was peeling, not really slicing them, but peeling them. This is worth the $20 just to not have to peel them. For me, it is. I don't know if it would be for you. I'm making sure I don't get any of that core. Wow. I am almost halfway through this second batch. You know, I almost wonder if you couldn't use this with peaches. If they were good and firm, you know, not real soft. I may have to try that. See what happens with a peach. I'm sure you could, I know you could do it with pears. Because pears are a firm fruit like apples are. So, like I said, the box says you can do it from either end, but trust me, do it from the stem end because it works a lot better. My husband's gonna be impressed. Oops. Remember, don't forget to pull it back. And it comes with an extra peeling blade too for when that one gets dull. Wow, 2 apples left, y'all. Wow. I'm like a kid at Christmas time. Last apple. Get all that apple goodness that I can get. All right. We don't need that one. That's too much peeling. All right. So, and just like that, I should have timed it. Man, we're done with the apples. So I'm going to get this mess cleaned up, get the crock pot out, and we'll move over to that counter and show you how to do that part. All right. Okay, so we've got our crock pot all set up. And I've got my apples draining over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my apples and I'm going to break them apart as I put them into the crock pot. If they're not already broke apart. But they're really easy since with that slicer, because I want to get my layer to be even in here. And there's a little bit of the peeling on a few pieces, but that's okay. Because my hands are getting sticky, so I'm going to rinse my hands. Just adds a little bit of fiber, but it won't be as much as my one that I did last year and the year before. So this is my first year. I'm going to kind of give these a rinse. And see, here's one that's got a bad spot. See that bad spot? So I'm going to take that off. That's another reason I go through and break them apart. You don't want any bad spots in there. Gives me a chance to look at them, make sure I don't have any. And you actually, I was talking about adding the juice that I canned yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. You don't add juice to this. So I won't be adding that juice. Because these, when they cook down, the juice naturally releases from the apples. Okay. So, now, we've got a good even thing there, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get my vanilla. And I'm going to get my measuring spoon. Okay, so I do a teaspoon of my vanilla. Actually, I'm probably going to do 2. Okay. Man, still smells good. And these I made last year. Okay, so now we're going to get our spices. Now, cloves, which this is ground cloves, I'm only going to do, I think, 1 teaspoon, 1 heaping teaspoon. Of cloves. cloves definitely says fall. And I probably put a little too much in there, but oh well. So now we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Because nutmeg is the one that can be overpowering. You don't want to put too much nutmeg in there. And then my favorite one, cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And I'm going to do a tablespoon. Which is going to be the equivalent of the rest of my jar. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this top off. And put the rest of that cinnamon in there. Now I got to refill my cinnamon jar. But that's okay. So then we're going to stir this around so that we get all of the spices all over all of the apples. And breaking the apples up is fine. It does not matter. Because you, like I said, you want to get that all of your apples good and coated. With that. Oh man, I wish y'all had smell-o-vision. It smells so good in here. I love the smell of cloves. Okay. So now we've got those done. So I'm going to make sure I get all of that down in there. I'm going to wipe that. We're going to put the lid on it. Okay, guys. I have set my cooker on low for 10 hours. And then after 10 hours, we will come back, take the lid off, let it simmer for another 2 hours, and then we'll be able to jar it up, give it the water bath, let it set overnight. So it is about 9:25. So at 9:30 tonight, I'll be filming and canning up apple butter. But oh well, what do I got to do tonight other than watch TV? So I'll see you in about 10 hours. Oh my gosh, guys, I forgot to put my 2 cups of sugar in there. Oh my. I knew I was forgetting something. So I'm going to go back right now and get my 2 cups of sugar in there. And we'll be good then. I can't believe I forgot. I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. Okay. I love this wooden scoop, guys. And this is the jar that I got thrifting. So there's one. There's 2. So there's my 2 cups of sugar. So now I'm going to stir it again because I want to get that sugar all over those apples. So it's set on low for 10 hours. And I promise you, I have everything in here this time. Oh, that thing's done got hot. I burned my finger. Be careful with your slow cooker because it starts to get hot. Oh man, that smells good. Okay, now got that nice even layer. Put the lid on there. Let it do its thing for 10 hours. It has been 6 hours, and so I don't really want to wait till 9 o'clock tonight to do this, so I'm going to go in with my immersion blender, and I'm going to blend this up, and I'm going to turn it on high for the last 4 hours. So I'm going to turn the temperature on high, and I'm going to blend it up. And I'm doing it on low because you don't want to do it on high because that liquid is hot, hot, hot. But it smells so good, y'all. And it is cooked down. Because as you remember, this thing was just full of apples. So it's cooked down that much. So I'm just going to get it smooth to the consistency that I want, which we're almost there. Okay, so I think we're there. So now, I'm just going to put the lid back on it and let it cook for the other 4 hours with the lid on, and then we'll take the lid off and let it cook for 2 hours. In 2 hours, I will check it again to check the consistency of it. So, we'll be back in 2 hours. Okay, so this has been cooking on high for about 1.5 hours now. So I'm going to switch my temperature back to low and take the lid off and let it cook for 2 hours. That will help pull some of this water out and make it thicken, because as you can see, it's still kind of thin. So I'm going to stir that. It smells heavenly though. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And it's the brown, and it's smooth because I already blended it with my immersion blender. I'm going to scrape the sides to get all of that seasoning off. And so now, since I have the lid off, it will allow that water content to evaporate and it will get even thicker. So I'm going to let that cook for 2 hours. And then we'll be ready to can it up and water bath it. So, be back to check it in 2 hours. I actually ended up only letting this cook for another hour on high, and then I took the lid off and let it cook for about an hour to 1.5 hours with the lid off until it got to the consistency that I wanted. And a really good way to check your consistency is to put a plate in the freezer for 2 hours and then drop some of your jelly on the plate and let it sit for a minute or so, and then drag a spoon through the middle of it and about a 1/2 inch wide. And as long as the jelly does not try to seep back together and close that in, your jelly is ready to go, or here in this case, your apple butter. So we're going to get these ladled into these jars, get the jars wiped, and get them ready to be processed in the water bath canner.
Go out there and see if I can stand it, work in there now without sweating.
Okay. I actually got 6 half pints out of that one batch.
You want to taste it?
It's hot. You might not want to taste it right now.
Oh. Perfect.
Tastes good?
I mean, just perfect. Good job, baby.
Thank you.
You're getting to be quite the cook, you know?
Well, thank you.
Mom would have been proud of you. You've been taking her stuff, you know what?
Yep. Okay, so we got 6 half pint jars. Now we're going to process them and for 10 minutes in this boiling water. And y'all say my hubby's so sweet. He had to sample the good apple butter. But anyway, we're going to get him in this water bath over here. Is it starting to boil? Okay, so we're going to drop these down in here, or lower them down in here. Okay. And I'll put that on there, bring it up to a boil, and then I'll start my 10-minute timer. Then we'll take them out, let them set for 24 hours, and then take the rims off. Wipe the jars in case they've got any stickiness or anything. Label them, and my hubby will be good for another year. I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today and taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. And remember what I always say. Make sure you take time to go out and make those memories with the ones you love. May God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.